our last awardee tonight, Mr. Bill Myers. Mr. Bill Myers is well-versed in the full range of African-American musical expression of Eastern North Carolina. He plays jazz, R&B, funk, soul, and gospel music with consummate skill and with a great depth of feeling. He's also an educator and a mentor who has touched the lives of thousands of students. And he's a cultural leader who's been a tireless advocate for the importance of the arts to our citizens. He also happens to head up a band, the Monitors, that have been bringing Eastern North Carolina music to audiences for over 50 years. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Bill Myers, recipient of the North Carolina Heritage Award.
Good evening. This is such a special event, and I'm deeply honored to be a part of it. To Madam Secretary Klutz, to Wayne Martin and the members of the staff of the North Carolina Arts Council, members of the General Assembly, I was so proud that you were here and you were introduced as we started this program. And I'm glad that you're here to witness this tonight. And I'm not going to stop bugging you until every child in the state of North Carolina has an opportunity to study the arts. It is not a Democratic thing. It's not a Republican thing. It's not an independent thing. You do it because it's right. That's what you do. Thank you. I have so many people to thank that I wrote them down on my scrap note here. I first of all have to thank God for my being here. Many of you don't know my story. About 6 years ago, I was almost out of here, but a lady came and prayed hard for me and said that God wasn't through with me. And here I am back, so I thank God for that. I want to thank my wife for 51 years. I know we don't look at we got married just as children. But she's fabulous. I said this before. The Four Tops said it before I said it. Ain't no woman like the one I got. I need to thank my children. My son Michael is here with his wife Sandra from Atlanta, Georgia. My daughter Michelle is here and her husband who live right here in Raleigh, Michelle and Morris, with my two grandchildren who are here, Michaela and Cameron, my sister and my brother Gloria and Dennis from Maryland, and Susan, my niece, and Larry also from Maryland. Thank you so much for being here. My St. John Church family, all the way from Wilson, my pastor, Dr. Michael S. Bell, my church family, thank you so much for being here. And then my friends from Wilson, North Carolina. I was standing in the lobby of this great facility, and I looked out and I saw this huge white bus pull out there. And I said, hey, those are my folks. I just want you to know how much I love you and how much I appreciate you being here this evening. So thank you so much for that. I just hope that we can live up to the responsibility that you've put on our shoulders. It's so important to me personally that we promote the arts and we do the best that we can to make it grow here in this state. We have such great potential here in North Carolina to be one of the greatest states in this union. If we do it together, we'll get it done. I'm glad to be a part of this, so thank you very, very much.
Bill, while the band's coming on, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I don't know if it wasn't really brought out on the video, but when you were young, you'd grown up in music. You had achieved a lot of fame locally, playing music, and then you'd gone off and you'd gotten your degree. You were ready, set to go out and conquer the world
Yes.
as a musician, and yet you stayed in Eastern North Carolina, and I wonder why you did that.
That's a good question, Wayne. Thank you for that. Yes, that was my dream. I met a friend in the Army when I was serving in Korea named Shelly Thomas. And he and I were going to form this magnificent band in the United States and tour the world. We were going to meet in Omaha, Nebraska, of all places. And we weren't going to New York. We said we were going to make New York ask for us to come in there. And we were going to do that. But I had been in Korea for 2 years, and I hadn't seen my parents in that long, and they suggested that I at least stay around. And the music teacher got sick in a little place called Elm City, North Carolina. The school was Frederick Douglass. Hey, Elm City, you know about it. The school was Frederick Douglass High School. And I went there October 22nd, 1957. And my plan was to only stay 1 year. And I was going to pursue my dreams. But I got there and I saw some things I had never seen before. I saw kids who needed to be motivated. Kids who only knew about Elm City, a very small town. Kids who had never seen the ocean. Kids who had never been to the capital city. Kids who had never seen an opera. Kids who knew nothing about roller skating or ice skating. And I said, God must have sent me here because I have to do something about this. And I started doing that and taking kids from place to place. And I saw the little light come in their eyes, that all of a sudden they wanted to do something better, something bigger than Elm City. Not to condemn Elm City, but to just say there's a whole nother world out there, folks, that you have not seen. And I have to expose you to this. So I started taking them to places. I even got a bus and took them to see the ocean. And when I got there, the kid said, "Is that it?" I said, "Listen, young man, that is the second largest body of water in the whole world. That's the Atlantic Ocean." "Well, thank you very much. You know, big deal." But it was necessary to do things like that. There were kids playing basketball outdoors in their shorts out there because there was no gymnasium. Kids who had no cafeteria. And I said, I need to do something with this. I just have to stay here and do this. So I worked at that. I worked as a principal. I later became the assistant principal. I worked as a teacher. I later became assistant principal, and then the principal of the school, and then finally the assistant superintendent. So I was able to do those things and make some of their dreams come true.
And we're glad you did.
Thank you.
And despite all that work that you were doing, you kept the music going, and just a couple of years ago, you were at the Smithsonian Festival, a mainstay on the R&B stage, and I remember going up there and seeing those thousands of people out there dancing to your music. So you've carried the music of Eastern North Carolina throughout the country.
We've tried to do that, just that. I can tell you a quick story that perhaps I'm the only man in the world who can say this. When we moved the Arts Council, it used to be on Gray Street in Wilson, and we had a big celebration to move it to this present location on the corner of Goldsboro and Nash County. Karen Wells was our executive director, and I think Karen is probably out here someplace. I can't see you, Karen, but I think you're here. And we said, let's have a big celebration. And so my job was to go out and find the artists. So I made contact with Ray Charles. And Ray Charles said, yes, I will come and play it for you. So Ray Charles came to Wilson. We hired members from the North Carolina Symphony to come and play. And about 3 o'clock that afternoon, and the show was supposed to start about 7:30, Ray's manager said, who's going to open this act for us? We said, Mr. Charles, we didn't know we had to have an opening act. That was not in our contract. He said, well, Ray never performs unless there's an opening act. Uh-oh, we're in trouble here now. So I got on the telephone. I made calls. Our piano player, Cleveland Flo, was at the East Carolina band camp. Our bass player, P.A. Best, was in the dentist chair in Goldsboro. Pat Patterson was doing something else in the Rocky Mountain. I said, guys, whatever you're doing, put it down. Ray Charles is in town, and we have to open this show. So they came, and we opened for Ray Charles, which is a significant thing in our lives. We opened for Ray Charles. Well, just a few weeks ago in Wilson, North Carolina, we had Jerry Butler to come to perform in Wilson. Well, when Jerry came out to perform, he was a little sickly. We, in fact, worried about him if he was going to get through the concert. Well, he sang about 5 songs and became more ill. In fact, he went off to the side of the stage and collapsed on the stage. Now here, all these people are sitting here for the concert, and all of a sudden, the director of the Arts Council, Barry Page, says, Bill Myers, you want it backstage immediately. So I went backstage, and Barry says, we have to make this show go. The people are still sitting out there, and they don't know he's gone to the hospital. So we have to play. So we played for the end of the show. So I'm perhaps the only man, probably in this room and maybe in the world, who has opened for Ray Charles and closed for Jerry Butler. together. Come on.
This concludes the 25th anniversary of the North Carolina Heritage Awards. thanks to Pinecone, to the staff of the North Carolina Arts Council, to all the musicians on stage, and the 2014 recipients. Will you please make them welcome one more time? Sid Luck! Arnold Richardson. Mr. Bobby Hicks. Miss Susan Levier. Mr. Bill Myers. The monitors. Thank you for coming. Join us in the lobby for the reception. Molly.
Come on, get up, get down, get funky, get loose. Come on, get up, get down, get funky, get loose. Say what you come out here for?
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 Do you want to party?
Yeah.
Do you want to dance?
Yeah.
Do you want to party? Come on and get down, 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 down. We come out here to party, and party is what I'm going to do. I done work hard both night and day, and now it's time for me to shake it loose. Took me 1 hour just to get here. Do you think I'm gonna stand up on the wall? I'm gonna have myself a ball. Do you hear me? Have myself a ball. Come on, y'all. Come on, get up, get down, get funky, get loose. Come on, get up, get down, get funky, get loose. Get up, get down, get up, get down. Woo!